And we are rolling. So, hey guys, welcome to 2021. Obviously, if you're watching this later on YouTube, I have no idea how far into the future this is, but basically the last week of December got a shed load of inquiries come through. We've had 5 new people join the team. So the onboarding process has meant that basically all my call slots for the first week in January have gone very, very quickly. Now, I want you guys to be maximizing this time when motivation is high, new year, new me, making sure that we're kind of getting really solid in terms of where our goals want to be for 2021 so that we, as I said, capitalize on all that motivation that we've got there. So what I'm going to do is normally with these goal setting sessions, we will do it live kind of like on a call. But for those of you that are like super motivated and want to get it done, we're going to run through how you fill in your goal sheet, where all the different bits are, and it just means you can be doing that kind of on your own. I do still want to catch up with every single one of you on a one-to-one call, just to kind of talk through it, make sure we really solidify in kind of the why behind those goals. It gives you a little bit more time to kind of think about it. And then, as I said, once you've filled in this sheet, if you still kind of want to have a chat with me, I will pop a link to send a request through to do a half an hour kind of Zoom call. So obviously that's for existing clients. So first things first, let me share my screen. Okay, so let's open it up, and perfect, it's all already here. So as you can see, we've got a very, very simple kind of spreadsheet here. Let's zoom out a little bit so that you guys can see it better. And as we fill in this sheet here, some of you have done this with me and others haven't. So as you fill in the first sheet on the front, it's then going to fill in then your daily log sheet, which you can then print out. Now, the daily log sheet, I want you to have somewhere prominent so that you see it every single day. Stick it on the fridge, stick it on your mirror, kind of in your dressing room, whatever it is. If you stick it on the fridge and it's in a public place, I can guarantee your partner and your kids are going to ask you about it and ask you why there's ticks and crosses and stuff on it. And it's an extra layer of accountability if you know that you're also setting the example to kind of like other people in the house. For those of you that have like supportive spouses and stuff, if you don't, then don't put it that prominent, because again, they just take the mick out of you. So it's all about giving those extra prompts kind of like throughout the day to make sure that you are focusing on the habits, and the habits are the individual building blocks that are going to like build the bigger picture. When you're working with me one-to-one, what we do is we decide the individual habits that are going to help you get towards your longer term goal, because too many people focus on the big goal and then they get disheartened because they think about how long's left to go. So what we want to do is break down that big goal into the next 12 weeks, which is a much more manageable chunk. Make sure those goals that are within the 12 weeks are smart, so specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So we go from a big vague goal at the top to very, very kind of specific, and then to even more specific of what are the daily tasks that are going to help me get towards these goals over the next 12 weeks. So we're just going to go for John. I don't think I've got anybody called John in the program. So John wants to lose a total of 2 stone over the next year. So 2 stone weight loss. So why is this important to John? So with losing 2 stone, he's probably going to go down 2 to 3 holes on his belt and not feel self-conscious at the pool when on holiday with kids. So John, like a lot of us, has put on some weight over the Christmas period. He's decided enough is enough, and his main goal is actually not the losing the weight. That's what's going to help him get along. His main goal is to not feel self-conscious of the pool. So this is where, when we get down to the bottom of your why, that's why it's important to dig a couple of things deeper. I'll go into more detail of that at the end and use John kind of as an example. So if John's looking to lose 2 stone over the next year, he's probably going to be up there in like the high 30-35% body fat. So over 12 weeks, a good amount of weight to aim for is 1 to 2 pounds per week. If it's you're kind of at first getting set up, then I'd aim for like 1.5 pounds. Whereas if you are a few months in, probably aim for the 1 pound a week to not set yourself up for failure. So over 12 weeks, he wants to lose 12 pounds of body weight. So some of that will hopefully, well, the majority of that should be body fat. So to lose 12 pounds, that's going to be between 5 to 7% body fat, which over a 12-week period kind of is possible. And again, another specific goal, if it's kind of weight loss, is to drop a belt buckle hole. If you lose 12 pounds, that's nearly a stone. You should be dropping at least like a belt buckle size. For the ladies out there, it could be drop a dress size, or if you are like squeezing into a 14 at the moment and you want it to fit comfortably into a 14, as I said, you want these goals here to be along the lines of what you want to achieve, but you also don't want to make it all about weight loss, because then it can be a little bit underwhelming if you kind of get here. So I've put in a specific number in terms of weight, changing body composition. So even if we don't hit 12 pounds, however, we can physically see our body fat has dropped, that's still going to be kind of like a positive. And then again, another way that we can measure that is to drop a belt buckle hole. So if we've lost inches, all these 3 are going to help us towards this kind of bigger goal. Whereas if you've got more of a performance goal, you can set goals as in, I want to add 10 kilos onto my bench press, or 10 kilos onto my squat, or I want to be able to squat pain-free, or whatever it is. You need to make these kind of like specific to you. I'm just focused on the weight loss side of it here, because that's what the majority of you guys kind of come to me for inside the coaching side of it. What then happens is, once we've done this once, you'll get to a certain point in terms of weight loss, and then we might go into performance goals. So 5 habits that are going to 5 daily habits that are going to help us get there. One's exercise, food, water, steps, and then something personal. I always leave this like specific to you. So John is a beginner, so he's going to want 3 times training a week. And again, we've normally agreed this ahead of time. If you know that it's going to be realistic for you to train 3 times a week, then kind of pop it in there, and I'll show you how you would then fill that in on the next page. So food is going to be tracking food using my fitness pal. So again, nice and simple. We're not putting specific calories or anything in there. It's just, first of all, it's getting used to tracking food. Because once we're there, we can then make tweaks to that. So I want most of you to be tracking food most of the time. Water. So John doesn't drink that much water. So we're going to try and bring his water intake up to 2 liters per day. And then steps, again, because he's a beginner, he's going to want to take it to 8,000 steps per day. And the final one is something for John, is he wants to keep a gratitude journal. So what a gratitude journal is it gets to the end of the day and you're going to write 2 things to be grateful for. 1 thing that you've achieved that day that you set out to do, and 1 thing to be grateful for. You can also do 1 thing to do the next day, and that does kind of help in the future, but at minimum it's those 2. 1 thing to be grateful for and 1 thing you've achieved that day. So what this helps is, it helps to bulletproof your mindset. All of us have ups and downs. All of us have bad days where just it all goes to hell. We feel like we're failing, like we're letting everybody down. And what this does is, if you've got this by your bed and you're filling this in, you're doing 2 of those things to be grateful for every single day. When you're having a bad day, the first thing you should reach for is your gratitude journal, and just go and read through all those things you've got to be grateful for, because you were putting those in and you were saying thank you to the universe essentially for them. And they're very, very personal for you. When you're having a bad day and somebody says, oh, you should be grateful because there's kids in Africa that haven't got anything on the plate, that's not personal to you. So then actually you feel resentful because you're like, oh, you don't understand the problems that I've got going on. Whereas when it's your own gratitude journal and you can read through all those things that you've got to be grateful for, if you're putting in 2 of those a day, after a week, you've got 14 things. If you do 2 of those a day, after a month, you've got 60 different things to be grateful for. It's one of the quickest ways to get yourself out of a mental funk is just to run through the roof over my head. I'm happy and healthy. My kids are happy and healthy. All these different things, because you wrote them, they're going to be more powerful and help get you out of that mental state and get you back into, right, what do I need to, what's the next step I need to do to kind of move towards my goals? And then this last bit is, what is your why? So I can't really help you with this one. You need to ask yourself, why do you want to achieve that big goal that you've kind of set for yourself? So for John, it's, why do I want to lose 2 stone? Okay, well, I want to feel better about myself. Well, why would losing 2 stone make you feel better about yourself? Well, I'm going to be able to shop in the normal aisles. I don't have to go to Jacamo or Big and Tall or whatever it is. Okay, so why would being able to shop at kind of normal aisles? Well, when I went shopping with my wife or kid or whatever, and I saw a shirt that I really liked, but they didn't have my size, I needed an XXL or whatever it is. That final one, that's the reason behind it, is that you don't want to be embarrassed when you take your shirt off at the pool, or you don't want to be embarrassed when you're out trying to buy clothes with your wife and you can't get a size that's big enough because you're too big. So you want to ask yourself like the who, what, where, why, when questions, like 3 or 4 deep, to get to the real underlying reason here. If you don't want to put this up on the public one so that people can't see it, by all means don't, but you do need to write it down. Maybe write it down in the front of your gratitude journal. So that's your reason why, and you want to read that through every single day. So when you're feeling hungry, when you feel like you can't be bothered to kind of do a workout, remember your why, and that why needs to be a really, really compelling emotional reason. So I want to lose 5 pounds because I feel better is not an emotional, compelling reason. I want to lose 2 stone to make sure I'm healthy enough to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle when she eventually gets married. That is a compelling emotional reason. So you need to be thinking a couple of levels deeper, because it's that compelling why that's going to help you get through the tough times. And I'm going to tell you now, there are going to be tough times, and I can help you as best I can, but this is going to help you 100 times more because you can be self-reliant with this. You don't have to then rely on me. Okay, so the 1 month checklist. So as you can see, as you filled in those slots there, it automatically fills in these ones at the top here, and you've got week 1, 2, 3, and 4, Monday to Saturday. So what you're then going to do is, for me, I like colours. So green. So I'm going to aim. So John's aiming to train Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So he's going to colour in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So because John's got a colour printer, or even if he doesn't, that's going to be kind of coloured in grey. Now, what you can do crosses, you can do ticks, you can go down to the pound shop and get some stickers. Basically, you're rewarding your brain for doing each one of these habits. So many people don't reward themselves for doing habits, or they reward themselves with food, which is the wrong thing to do because it sets up them. You're not a dog, you don't need rewarding with food, essentially. But as soon as you do one of these habits, you want that little dopamine hit that makes you feel good for doing it. So your 8,000 steps in a day, it might not even be tracking using MyFitnessPal. It might not be, for the first week, it might be, right, I want to track all my breakfasts. As soon as you've tracked your breakfast, that dopamine hit. And then week 2, it might be, okay, now I want to track my breakfast and my lunch every day. If you do more, that's great. But as soon as you've got the breakfast and lunch in there, you put your sticker on the board. Week 3, it might be then breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then week 4, it might be everything, including snacks. So in 4 weeks, you've gone from not tracking at all to tracking everything. And that's the key, is to stagger it. It's to not go from not training at all to training 7 days a week, because that's unrealistic. That's kind of not going to happen. If you're not drinking any water per day, jumping to 2 liters of water might be too much. It might be, right, I'm going to drink a liter of water a day and track it. And as soon as you've hit that liter mark, again, tick it off. With your steps, track your steps for a week and see where they are. If they're at 4,000, jump into 8,000, it's probably going to be a big jump. So again, jump from 4,000 to 5,000. 1,000 steps is about 10 minutes of walking. You can find a way to get an extra 10 minutes of brisk walking in. You can park at a car park that's 5 minutes away from work, and then you add 5 minutes on to each side of your work day. That's an extra 1,000 steps there without doing anything. When you go to the supermarket, park at the far side of the supermarket rather than right the bay right next to the supermarket. Again, that's going to get you an extra couple of hundred steps. And when you do it in these little chunks, what you will find is that it's much, much easier, and you don't set yourself up to fail. If you want to do it every single day from the start, you're probably not going to, because it's a habit. Whereas if you say, right, so my gratitude journal, I want to make sure I get more days out of the week than I don't. So it's going to be Monday, because that starts my week off right, Wednesday, and then I know I'm going to get it on the weekends, so Saturday and Sunday. And then, as I said, you can color these in. Now, once you've decided what days they're going to be on, you print this out, and as I said, you stick it up. So because it's 12 weeks, you want 3 copies of the second one, because this is for 4 weeks. You want 3 copies of the second one and just 1 copy of the first, and you want them both stuck up somewhere so that you can see what's the main goal, what's my 12-week goal. So this 12-week goal is what you're really, really focusing on. We can't, when it's like 6 months, a year, 2 years into the future, we can't focus on that. It's too big, and it tends to, our subconscious brain will go, nah, we're never going to achieve that, so there's no point in starting. This one is more tangible. It's 12 weeks. We can do that. You can drop 12 pounds in 12 weeks. That's more than achievable. And then it's these daily things. So if you know, right, I've done my exercise for the day, I've logged all my food, I've drank 2 liters of water, I've done all my steps, and I've kept my gratitude journal. If after a week or 2 this isn't working, then I will make some tweaks to the program. That's my problem to face. You guys need to focus on these simple steps. If you do these steps to the best of your ability, I will start tweaking your exercise. I will start tweaking the amount of food that you've got, and I'll start tweaking the steps that are in there to get you in the right place so that you will continue to make progress. That's my role as the coach, and that's why this is different to just going online and getting a cookie cutter program that's going to stick you on 1,200 calories and the same exercise, because that'll work in the short term, but you don't get those little changes. So you, as the client, focus on the habits, I focus on the specifics of it, and then we achieve transformations. So hopefully that's nice and simple. That's clarified like how you fill in the goal sheet. Where the goal sheet is going to be, I will have one in the Google Drive as a download that can be downloaded through what do you call it? Microsoft Excel, because it won't let me upload Google Sheets onto the Facebook group. And then also I will have this as a free download. If you go onto my Instagram page, there's going to be a drop down that's like join here, but it's also going to have a goal sheet download, and then there's going to be a PDF for home workouts and stuff. So it may set off an automation of sending some sales emails and stuff through. So actually, I'm going to cut that out. So yeah, the free download is going to be on the Facebook group for existing clients. So go to that one if you're an existing client. If you're not currently a client, if you go to my Instagram handle, which is @DeejPT, there's a free download on there where it'll come through. You'll get an email come through. You click on the link, it'll take you to a Google Drive, and then you can download it from Google Drive onto your home computer to be able to utilize in here. So hopefully, as I said, that's nice and simple. If you have any questions about filling this in, download it first, have a go at filling it in. If you then have any questions or you can't figure it out, again, drop me a DM on Instagram and let me know that I'm filling out the goals planner, I'm struggling with this, and this. If I can sort it out over a DM, then that's fine. We'll sort it out over DMs. If not, we'll jump on a call and we can run through it live. So it's been great to speak to you all. Looking forward to hearing from some of you and seeing what your goals for 2021 are going to be, or later, if you get into this later, and enjoy the rest of your day.